Okay, picture this. You're crafting a really important client proposal. You're using ChatGPT and you look at what it says about something and it comes up with a study, I'm going to use air quotes on that, study that says such and such happened. And then we find out later, whoa, wait a minute, that doesn't exist. Oh my goodness, suddenly your reputation, poof, up in smoke because you relied on information that was not true. Well, I'm going to show you in this video how you can turn that around and turn that liability into something really strong for you by doing the right things, embracing some of the principles of journalism that I learned in school that can help you. Hi, I'm Terry Brock, and we work with entrepreneurs how to solve problems like this and many others. In this video, I'm going to show you some specific steps that are really important if you're using ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, all kinds of wonderful tools that are out there, those large language models. But you got to be careful that you don't run into the problems. Otherwise, your hard-earned credibility, out the door. There was an article recently in the Wall Street Journal I want to share with you that has some really good perspectives on this. Let's take a look at that article. That article was in the Wall Street Journal, and I thought it was pretty nice. Let me pull this up here on the screen so you can take a look at it and see what it is. It was entitled, "Why Do AI Chatbots Have Such a Hard Time Admitting I Don't Know?" Hey, that's something. Well, maybe it's because I like so many people say, I don't know. We're afraid that if we say, I don't know, it makes us look bad. Actually, it enhances your reputation when you can say, I don't know about certain things. I think that's important. We're going to get into that more later. But he talks about hallucinations here are the hottest problem in artificial intelligence, spurring companies and research to find new solutions. And I thought he raised some very good points here as we get into the article and look at what he's talking about here. A lot of times people will wonder, who are you married to? Ben Fritz is the author of this. And Ben, by the way, if you're ever watching this, thank you very much. Good job on it, buddy. Really appreciate what you and the Wall Street Journal folks are doing. But it's a simple question. However, he finds that it's really convoluted and twisted around. I think he said it really well here when he went into the idea of, despite their ability to solve some of the world's most complex math problems and convincingly simulate human relationships, AI chatbots regularly get facts wrong. They invent legal cases, jumble the facts from famous movies and books, and yes, they make up spouses. So all kinds of problems can come from that. You might think, well, what are we going to do? We thought it was accurate. We've done Google searches on that, but things have been usually good, but there's also some problems with that too. It's kind of like the old joke that we have. Said, oh, I got it on the internet, so it must be true. Well, no, hey, Scooter, sometimes it isn't that way. You know, it can be out there on the internet, and it's not exactly what it says it is, but there are ways that you can cut through that. We're going to take the latest in technology of AI, couple it with the sound principles of journalism, putting those together to give you a way to handle this when things go wrong and when they don't quite go the way that we want them to, and we see that, okay, there's some real problems here, we've got to turn it around and we got to make sure that we do it right. Well, I think he said something really good, what Ben did in that article when he put it in there, but I want to make sure you understand you can get some help you need on this and other areas over at starkravingentrepreneurs.com. Bounce over there and take a peek at us and see what we've got, because we can help you on these kind of issues and many other areas also that you're working with. So we're going to get a chance to look at that. But let's take a look here at what he said toward the end of the article. He said, insofar as you can take that knowledge about its own limitations and try to get it to convey that it looks like the best solution. Amanda Askell, an Anthropic staffer who helps train Claude's personality. I think this is really good. Claude, by the way, is a great little tool for this. Even as AI has gotten more powerful, Americans' faith in it has been decreasing. Now, here's something I would question. He said in the article, in 2023, 52% of people were more concerned than excited about AI, and that's according to Pew Research Center. However, I would quickly come back and say, I get it, but hey, 2023 is a long time ago in AI history. Hey, anything even last week is almost too old. It moves fast. So we need up-to-date information. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about there as well. You see, however, I think there's a big part of the solution here, what he said, and I have to agree with this article very, very much here. When he says giving AI more modesty could be part of the solution. When someone asks you a difficult question and they say, I cannot answer, I think that's really good. I think when you can say, hey, I don't know the answer to that one, that's perfectly all right. I think that builds trust, said Professor Hernandez Oralo as he observed. We are not following the common sense advice when we build AI. And what we've got to do is build that in there. We've got to learn to say, hey, I don't know. For instance, I live in Orlando, Florida. And I'm aware of what's going on here in the state of Florida, et cetera, like you probably are where you live. But if somebody said, well, Terry, what do you think about such and such really important issue on the ballot right now in Boise, Idaho, or in Albuquerque, New Mexico, or in Petoskey, Michigan, wherever it might be that we're looking, frankly, I don't know. I don't keep up with all that stuff. And saying, I don't know, shows that you've got some respect. You're not going to say, well, I think they ought to do this, or I think you ought to vote for this candidate or that one, without doing your research. Not good. One of the ways you can really earn trust, as the professor said, is you want to make sure that you're following the evidence, and many times just saying, frankly, I don't know. And that's okay. It's a good answer. Well, there's several things we can look at on that. And what we want to do is take a look at some of those here with you and an AI fact checking to look at a practical guide for this. I put this together based on what I've seen, got information and help from ChatGPT and from Perplexity to put all this together for you. And I'm using Gamma, by the way, my wonderful new heartthrob of screen sharing. So, or not screen sharing, but putting together presentations. It does a real good job of that. And I want to go through this and show you some of the things that you can be aware of and you can look at. Because what we're going to do is we're going to explore the best practices for content creators and consumers to combat those AI hallucinations. You're going to learn to verify information effectively. This kind of thing is important. First of all, we got to understand what in the world is AI limitations. What does that mean? Well, we've got hallucinations, and these are AI models that generate incorrect information. Yep, they do that. You'd think, okay, they're not going to do that. It's going to give me the right thing. Not always. Often it will give you something that might not be quite correct. And so what you've got to do is you've got to find a source that's reliable. Reliability. The LLMs, those large language models, struggle to distinguish reliable and unreliable sources. Okay, hey, they're machines. Hey, I know people that are struggling on that too. And some of them they let vote, but that's a whole other thing right now. But they didn't ask me if they could, okay? But what you want to do is you want to do a little rule that can help you out real fast right away here. And that is the idea of looking at multi-source verification, the 3-source rule. What that means is you want independent resources. You want to look at people that are separate, not tied to each other, that they corroborate facts with 3 reputable sources. You want to do that. Reputable sources, and they don't know each other. This is what they told us in journalism. You want to make sure you have 3. Doesn't mean all 3 are going to be right. All 3 could be wrong. But what you want to do is you want to increase your knowledge base and reliability. Now, if we take that using AI and go way beyond just 3, that's the beauty of it. Today, in using AI, you don't have to go to just 1 or 2 or 3 sources. Use a variety and use multiple LLMs, different sources. So when you do that, then you're going to be able to get more reliable information all the way around. I think that's going to be important. And secondly, look at distinct origins. Hey, take a look at where it came from. Ensure that the sources are non-corroborating, that they're not getting involved with each other and going, hey, I'll tell them this and you say the same thing, okay? Make sure there are 3 sources completely separate from each other. And consult your primary sources as well. You want to do some original research on that, looking at trace information to original research papers. That's something you can do very well with tools we've talked about here at Stark Raving Entrepreneurs, like DeepSeek, that one that is based in China, but you can get servers in the US, Canada, and Europe, so you keep your privacy. I just had to throw that in as an oh, by the way, really important. But you can get that information. Also, take a look at official documents. Use government websites to find out, okay, what are they saying about this? What do they say here? Does the FDA say that? What does the IRS say about this? What does it say about copyright? There's a copyright.gov that my buddy Russ Riddle told me about. He's a lawyer that works in copyright law. And that's been a help. Russ, thank you very much if you're watching this. You can go over there, find out what the government is really saying about it. But go to those documents, go to those websites to see what's going on. And then other authoritative institutions that'll give you the information you need from time to time. Whoops, I missed that one over there. Let me come back here. Hey, it's just us here. Use as benchmarks those authoritative institutions. Use them as benchmarks so that you can say, okay, this is kind of where we ought to be and what we ought to pay attention to. And then request the source references. Citations, please. Where did you hear that? That is one of the things I love, love, love about Perplexity. Perplexity gives us the ability to see where they got the information. Where did this one come from? Where did that come from? We can find out that information very quickly and easily. It just shows you the source. Now, the source could be wrong. It could be inaccurate on a given point or more, but at least you know where it came from. So that makes it much better to find out what's really, really going on there. And always ask for supporting citations. When you're looking into what needs to be done, check on where it came from and why we should believe that. And then cross-check your references. This is important. Got 3 important things here I want to mention to you that you want to pay attention to. Number 1, publication date. Take a look. When did this thing come out? Did it come out just yesterday? Credibility as well as context. With a publication date, verify it. Did it come out like I just showed you with the Wall Street Journal 2 years ago? It could still be accurate. I don't know, but I'd like to see something a little more up to date than about 2 years from ago as we're doing this recording. So we want to find out what's going on there. On the credibility, you want to assess the credibility of that source. Is it coming from someone that is known to be credible? And every time you've heard her talk, she was right on target. I mean, she was just incredible. She did that. Okay, that's a reasonable reason to believe that it's true. But other times it's not quite going to be there. So you want to work with that. And then on the context, ensure that it's relevant. Not just that, hey, we're talking about something over here that could be true, but if it's not relevant to the case, not good. For instance, I know a lot about AI and marketing. That's what I talk about. But if you need help on heart surgery, not me. We did not study a whole lot of heart surgery when I went to business school. Okay, they left that part out. I'm going to trust certified, real medical professionals who specialize in heart surgery and heart attacks, and they know about all that stuff. These are the people you talk to. So make sure that you're looking at what is going to be real and what's going to help you in the real world, getting the right kind of information that will help you in many, many different ways. Also, consult subject matter experts. Find out people who, again, really know this stuff. Get the expert advice that they have and confirm the accuracy for your specialized topics. Just because someone says they know it or they read it on Google or they read it on ChatGPT or Perplexity or Grok or wherever it is, doesn't necessarily mean that it's right. You need to do your homework. You need to find out, okay, is this something that I can believe? Can I really test this and make sure it's okay? This is going to help you to be a lot more credible and keep that reputation of yours in good shape. Also, you want iterative verification. This is important. When you work with others, you're working with someone to say, what did you get? Oh, I got this. Really, I got something a little different. Let's look at that here. Oh, and what did we get over here? Working in groups can be very helpful with that. What you want to do is, first of all, take a look at what is going on in the areas of working with different kinds of cross-reference. Find out what's happening there. What is being said in many different areas. What one party says and what another one says. And then use different sources like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, Claude, and there are many other wonderful sources out there. There's quite a few, and it can get overwhelming. But I recommend that you have those available in your hip pocket. One of the ways I do it, unashamedly, I am a customer of Perplexity. They're not paying me to say this. I like what they're doing to give you access to the different tools. So you can go over here and go over there and over here too to do some comparisons. Don't take it as truth when you hear it only in one place. Also, be your own fact checker. Fact check what's going on. Look at things like PolitiFact, Snopes, and others. Snopes, I think, is one of the really outstanding people and groups out there that can check to see, okay, this is what's going on. This seems to be true, or this doesn't seem to be true. Check that out and have those kind of sources in your hip pocket so you can check on them quickly. Also, take a look at your source records. You want to keep records of the verification steps. You want to make sure that what they're doing as they go through it is credible. And provide disclaimers. Look at your AI source content. This is important. Hey, when you use AI, let people know that you use that. What I did, as a matter of fact, for this, I checked with ChatGPT and Perplexity brought in some of the best of it. Then I ran it again through Gamma to make sure it's working well. Then I look at it myself and edit it again. So I look at what the AI gives me as a rough draft. It's the rough draft, and then I go in and analyze it and check it. That's what I do on my newsletters that I send out every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Lots of good information. And thank you very much for the kind comments I've been getting lately about the kind of work we're doing there. Thank you. But those are available, and we want to make sure that we check the sources so we can go, okay, this is what's happening. This is where we need to be and where we shouldn't be. Look at the sources on that and clarify AI's role in the verification process. Let people know when you have used AI. And so you can say, this is from AI. Fair enough. We understand that. But try to say, this is from me, when you got it always, all of it from AI. Yeah, not cool, Sparky. You don't want to do that right there. And then here's a real important one. Really important. You want to make sure that you have critical evaluation and skepticism. Yep, be kind of skeptical. I want you to kind of notice, does it feel right? Is this right, or does there see something that seems like is not quite right with that? I got to say, this is something that's important. I think I could be painting here with a broad brush, but I think women tend to have a little bit better insight into what's going on than men do many times. Not always, but quite often. And women say, okay, what are we going to do here? Is this the correct answer? Doesn't feel right. What I would recommend is you take both. Take your gut feeling, which can be wrong, but you get that, and do your research, which can also be wrong. Put the two together and then have collaboration with others, and you're going to do a whole lot better all the way around when you start working with that. You're going to find that it's much better. And then assess the plausibility within the existing knowledge that you have. What kind of information are we getting from that? Is it good, and can we trust it? And then check for bias or for outdated data. Sometimes it's just way past the time. It's old, it's no longer true. You need to verify that. And that means you got to use a lot of common sense. Just because you see it on the internet, well, it might have been from the internet 10 years ago and not true anymore. Do your homework, find out what is going to be true and what's true today. Check for your bias and notice the context, because that context really matters. And consider the time sensitivity. Are they saying this is hot news now, but it's from a 1936 newspaper? Well, hang on, that's not quite going to be right. And then use multiple AI tools. For instance, you might say, wow, I used tool A and it told me this. That's a pretty good answer, yeah. Tool B came in just a little bit better. But then there's tool C, and that wasn't quite as good as the others. Okay, so weigh them back and forth. I've done that on this channel here several times. When I look at different ideas, here's one way you can do it. Here's another, it's okay, but not in this case. They might be not quite as accurate. But this one, hey, it looks pretty good. Part of that journalism thinking is going to pay off for you. So we take the best of AI and the best of tried and true principles that work. First principles, and as I have mentioned, some of the journalism, real journalism that really works. You make sure you get that together. And then here's something also real important. Encourage peer review. Get others to take a look at it. Something we talk a lot about here at Stark Raving Entrepreneurs, where we say, the old Japanese saying, none of us is as smart as all of us. You want to make sure that when you're looking for something, that you don't rely only on yourself, as smart as you might be, or one person as smart as she might be or he might be. You want to look at what's going on in many different places. Get a variety of different opinions. Find out what they're saying and use that. None of us is as smart as all of us. Very, very important on this, and we want to see how to get that. One of the ways you can do that is, oh, hold on, miss this here. Yeah, get a second or third or fourth or even more opinions. Sometimes that's a good way to do it. You want to find out what people are saying. Are we getting the same thing from all these different places, or is this guy the only one that's saying that? Now, he might be right. Sometimes that happens. But often, if this one person is saying it and everybody else is saying something different, not always, but usually, that person could be wrong. Then you want to collaborate with your colleagues. This is what we're talking about here again. Review your information, see what's there, get feedback on the sources, find out what's going on in many different ways of how you can handle that and what can be done. Then use community platforms. I love doing this. Get online feedback. One of the ways you can find out what people are really thinking is to go over to places like Reddit, X, formerly Twitter, and over to Facebook and other places. Find out what people are saying, what they really believe. Often what they'll say in one place isn't exactly what they think. They're putting in what they think is the right thing to say. Oh, is this what I'm supposed to say? Whereas you get over in other places like Reddit and maybe Substack in many areas, you're going to find out what they really believe. So be sure and check on other places you can go, and that online feedback will give you really good information in many ways. Then engage in those discussions. Find out what people are saying, why they're saying it, and get information from them, giving valid information to them, giving help that way. And then keep updated with AI improvements. As things change, can't keep hanging on to what was good last year. I know last year seems like pretty relevant, but it could be out of date in the tools of AI. It's one of the things we do in our community of stark raving entrepreneurs. We keep things updated. Every Wednesday, we have a tantalizing tech tip from Terry, me, where I'm saying, here's something new going on. Here's something new that you can use as an entrepreneur. Not just, here's something flashy and new. Those are neat and groovy, and the geek in me likes to hear those. But realistically, how can this help you build your business? That's the key. And so you want to keep up with those AI improvements in a way that's going to keep you relevant to what's going on in a very strong way. Follow the updates and stay informed. Real important to do that. And then as you're monitoring the updates, here's how you can. Look for new features that are out there. Scan for market relevant evidence of what's out there. And then for improvements. The tool that you looked at last year and thought, yeah, it's just not good. They might have brought in new management or brought in some new people, or they heard that you and others didn't like it and they've now improved that. So learn from the changes that are there. Discover what's being done and how you can make it even better. And then ensure your credibility. This is going to be important. You want to mitigate the risks of relying on AI hallucinations. Make sure you can put those aside. And then build a robust process for regularly checking this to see what's going on. And then maintain your credibility, unlike what we said at the beginning of this video, that you could ruin your credibility by trusting something that's not true. You're going to maintain your credibility by doing it in the right way. So our AI fact-checking guide, in a practical way, you need to explore best practices for content creators and consumers and combat AI hallucinations. Learn to verify that information effectively. What you want to do is make sure that you're staying in touch with what's going on. And there's ways to do that. One of the ways would be to get involved with those communities we're talking about. So as we look at closing thoughts, this is important. Hang in there with me. This is going to be real important as you look at what is available. Keep abreast with what's going on. Get involved with the community. Gina and I offer Stark Raving Entrepreneurs where we're learning a lot just from the people that are there, but also we find that we're learning as we tap into our own communities to learn other new information. Find a community you can get into and learn from it and keep learning constantly. That's going to be the way to do it. Stark Raving Entrepreneurs, we're here to help you, all grounded in the live and let live principle. Don't hurt others. Don't take their stuff. Do not initiate force or coercion. Live peacefully. If you embrace peace, all right, we're for you there. You get outside of peace, hey, I don't care for that. Rather be peaceful. So do that. And by the way, speaking of growing and learning more, got a video here that's going to help you a lot. This is going to be something that's going to show you how you can tap into other areas of AI and start working with it in a big way. I'm Terry Brock. Thanks for joining me here for Stark Raving Entrepreneurs, and we'll look forward to hearing from you.